All right. Hello and welcome on in. I don't know why Restream does what it does when it chooses to do it, but there we go. I am your host, Extra Zero, and welcome on into 0 Hour, a Transformers podcast, where I try to go over all of the coolest Transformers news in about an hour or so. And yeah, we got a lot of good stuff to talk about. I'm sorry I missed last week. We just had a lot going on. We hosted I had the Switch 2 launch, then we had a graduation party, and we were just kind of go. And yeah, I've been training pretty hard. I've been trying to get in good shape, and also I've got some cosplays that I want to do. I'm in the process of getting a costume put together for Baltimore Comic-Con, and yeah, pretty excited about that. And I got to Tuesday, and I just kind of crashed out. And I know Lance and I kind of fell off. We'll pick that back up. Everything's good there. Just kind of some scheduling issues on my end. So we'll get that discussion video. And also been kind of hoping for some additional reveals as far as the original 13. We knew we had the Fanstream coming today, and we're going to talk about that Fanstream because there's a lot of great stuff in there. Before we get into it, if you don't mind, smash that like button because it really does help me out in the algorithm. And if you're not already subscribed, hopefully tonight's the night that I earn your subscription. And also, if you do subscribe, or if you are already subscribed and don't have that notification bell rung, go ahead and click that notification bell because there is going to be some cool content coming out this week and this weekend. So if you didn't know already, if you're in the DMV area, if you don't know what the DMV area is, well, that's the Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area. I'm in the state of Maryland. And I'm going to be hosting a meetup this weekend. And I'm going to post on the community tab. I've been talking about this, but we're going to be at Bar Louie in the Avenue at White Marsh from 11 to 4. I'm going to be there. T-Man 978 is going to be there. I think Bolt Matrix might be there, but we're going to have Kevin MacLeod from the DMV Action Figure Society. We're going to have a lot of dudes come in and hanging out. And if you're not a dude and you want to come hang out, you are welcome. Everybody's welcome. I encourage anybody to bring any figures that they want to show off, any figures they might want to sell or trade. We've reached out to the Maryland and the Virginia groups on TFW. I've got posts there, posts all over the different Facebook groups like the Syndicate Toy Hunters. It's not strictly a Transformers collectors meetup, so people are going to have all kinds of stuff. But yeah, just kind of bring any figures you want to show off. If you're not comfortable with that, you don't have to bring anything. This is all about just getting like-minded collectors together to meet up, have some drinks, have some good food, have some good times, and just get to know the people in your area. Pre-COVID, I used to do these all the time, and I'm really, really happy to get them back on the radar here, back on the calendar. T-Man coming in saying, I might melt. Well, that's why I picked Bar Louie. There's outdoor seating at places in White Marsh. It's a central area. And one of the reasons I picked Bar Louie was because it's indoor. They have a long table. There's going to be air conditioning. If we get one of those random summer rains, you don't have to worry about any of your collectibles that you may have brought getting rained on, or anybody else's getting rained on. And you can just kind of chill out, have a good time. I made a reservation for 25, and that was kind of like a liberal estimate of how many people were going to be there. We used to have pretty good turnouts when we did these before, so I'm hoping to have a really good turnout on Saturday. And yeah, just hoping to see people there. I know Winston's been asking for these again, and I'm going to text him and make sure he has all the details. But yeah, looking forward to getting some footage of that. I also got the collection room tidied up, so I'm all ready to get that collection tour. That'll be up on Thursday. And I'm going to chat with Lance and see, whether we do this Saturday or maybe the next with the 4th of July holiday coming up the following weekend. We might end up doing something mid-July. Who knows? We might get some more Age of the Primes reveals by then. We might have a better look at the other 13. So we'll get that one figured out. But last thing, too, if you are watching me here on YouTube, pop in. We got the live chat over there. We've already got T-Man 978 in the 978 in the chat. We've also got my pal Angry Canadian coming in saying, yo, it's good to see you. I might be meeting up with him later on this year. We talked about that yesterday. So exciting stuff. So before we get into all the news, let's do this week's Figure of the Week. My God, StreamYards. Not StreamYards. Restream. You know, in this, like, I also do Gronkin' on Dogs. We do the gaming show, Lethal Lightning, Mazza, Cream NATO, and I use Restream. They use StreamYards. And they're like, oh, yeah, StreamYards has been messing up lately. And I'm like, it's got nothing on Restream. It's really got nothing on Restream. So, yeah, I don't know why it's having a conniption fit. But this week's Figure of the Week's a fun one. It's not a new figure. It's an old figure. Because here in Figure of the Week, we like to look at figures from, you know, then, now, and well into the past. And this one is the original. And this is actually the vintage reissue, but the original Rat Trap. That's right. This was one of the original Beast Wars figures. And I don't know that there's too many or any differences between this and the original figure. But, you know, there's something to be said about these old Beast Wars basics. Like, you know, they do one-step changers today, and those are kind of neat. I actually did pick up one of these on clearance. This is the Transformers 1 Orion packs, and, you know, it's kind of cool, right? But, you know, today they've got literally, they're bricks. But back then, you know, this was pretty revolutionary because G2 kind of introduced these with some of the basic figures, and Beast Wars really refined it, where you had a lot of articulation. And, you know, when I say a lot, you had ball joints. So you had, you had your ball jointed head. You could look up, look left and right, get a little attitude on it. And as my boy Deluxe likes to say, you know, you had the articulated shoulders, elbows, you had hips on ball joints and knees. You didn't have ankles, but you did get an accessory. So in Rat Trap's case, he has his blaster. But the cool thing is a lot of them, they had very similar transformations, but just the simplicity of it all, right? You just pull back on that tail, straighten out the limbs. Let me get the gun out of his hand so it actually will do what it needs to do. But I mean, this was just so cool back in the day, right? You know, it's like they transformed very similarly to how they did on the show, and they had the articulation. They were fun little toys. They were, you know, the right size. And then when you get back into robot mode, just lift that up, and he just opens on up, put him back. You know, this was fun. This still is fun. There's like this elegant simplicity to it. And I think like a lot of days, like one, they need to use better materials, but I think they're really overthinking making the kids' toys. They need to find that right line, right, of simplicity, articulation, and fun. And there's just something to be said about these Beast Wars basics. And even in his rat mode, he still has articulated feet. You know, you're not getting too much out of him, but he's a rat, you know? So, you know, I think this toy really does stand the test of time. And I mean, yeah, he's not fully show accurate, but you know who he is. You know, he's got that Rat Trap face. He's pretty close to the show model. And, you know, the other thing that was cool about him too is that his blaster can actually split into two blasters. So you can actually have him, you know, well, actually, I think this actually becomes the bomb. Now I think about it, like the little detonator. But you know, still a really cool figure that kind of stands the test of time. And I just think there's something really to be said about those old Beast Wars basics, and just you know, I kind of miss that whole transformation gimmick, and that's why Rat Trap is this week's Figure of the Week. And T saying, yeah, the show wasn't toy accurate. Yeah, he was much more slender on the show. He had a way smaller backpack. The face was a bit more streamlined, but you know, still, this is way closer than some of the G1 stuff. All right, let's get into some cool news, some late breaking news. I saw this just as I was setting the stream up, and I really, really hope this happens. So this comes from Bleeding Cool News, and they're a somewhat reliable source. And they write that apparently Robert Kirkman and SKYBOUND have sold a Transformers G.I. Joe Void Rivals Energon Universe animated streaming series. And the footnotes for this are that, they want to bring G.I. Joe and Transformers together specifically. The show is going to be based on the EU, which is, pretty good. Transformers and G.I. Joe comic rights moves to SKYBOUND after, we know the IDW, Hasbro pulled the plug on IDW. And they're expecting an announcement at this year's San Diego Comic-Con. So, again, this one's just a rumor. But what in the world? Let's remove that. There we go. Again, sorry about that. Restream tonight. If they get the folks behind Invincible to do this, like that same animation team, and they actually put the money behind it, and I mean, they know that these comics are selling well. And if Kirkman's involved, we are in for such a huge treat. Like, I can't state enough that if you're not reading the SKYBOUND comics right now, you're missing out. Like, these comics are the best that Transformers comics have been in a very, very, very long time. I mean, I thought Dreamwave was pretty good. And there are parts of IDW that's good, but consistently, these are the best. So if they get that team that's doing Invincible to bring these comics to life, I think that could be huge, especially if they use something like Prime Video and they hype it up like, hey, for the people that brought you Invincible, they could bring a whole new audience to Transformers. And I think that's what Transformers needs more than anything. It's, I'm not a big fan of the storylines in the Bay movies, but they did bring that audience to Transformers. They brought the hype back. They got the people there. They got the budget. And that was just, again, like, I think we're kind of living in a golden age as far as like what we're getting as far as any character you want exists. But man, the budgets of those figures back in, 2007 to 2011, just, it was a whole nother level. Even like 2005, Armada was big, got that Pokemon crowd. But yeah, I think something like this, especially again, if they get that team behind Invincible, I mean, obviously I don't think they should go for the super mature audience. They should kind of strike a middle ground, but I don't want them to compromise any of the content from the series. Still, I mean, it's 2025 and people are letting their kids watch whatever, but I think Transformers could use that. G.I. Joe could use that. That brand synergy would just be so cool. And I'd love to see it happen. I'm optimistic and I'm hopeful that we'll get an announcement like that at SDCC. So, not a convention. Don't really have any new news for TFCon Toronto, which is right around the corner, a couple weeks from now, or Chicago. Really, no new news. But and yes, T, I do want random human murder. I want to see Starscream, as brutal as he is in those comics. Like, I think that DWJ's interpretation of Starscream is like the best Starscream's ever been. I mean, I do like Prime Starscream, and I really like Transformers 1 Starscream, but the Energon Universe Starscream, man, savage. So I want to see that. I want to see them bring that to life. Maybe they can just do like silhouettes, like when he's crushing the dude. No spoilers, but it's not a convention, but we got the New Jersey. Excuse me. We have NJCC, the New Jersey Collectors Convention coming up, and this year's theme, as mentioned earlier, that is a G.I. Joe versus Transformers theme, and they're going to have some really cool door prizes there. So this is out in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, August 9th and 10th at the Holiday Inn in Cherry Hill. And so, yeah, door prizes. They've got tons of them. A Bumblebee Tiki mug, Studio Series 86 Brawn, Voyager class Scrapper, 40th Anniversary Prime, another 86 Brawn, Age of the Primes, Air Raid, another 86 Brawn. They must have got these on clearance. The Soundwave crossover figure, the Dreadnought Thunder Machine, another 86 Brawn. They're giving away at 1 a missing Link Optimus Prime, which is a amazing Prime. Then they're giving away an 86 Studio Series 86 Swoop. Then at 3, a Voyager Scrapper, and then the mega prize is an Age of the Primes Triptychon. So really, really cool stuff. And that's just the Saturday show. So they are doing, a G.I. Joe theme on Sunday. They're doing a Tiki mug, Dark Lawn, all kinds of stuff. But the Transformer stuff, that's all going to be on Saturday. So, if you are in the New Jersey area or you want to go up or just want to check out a convention, if you can't make it to a TFCon this year, you want to stick to the East Coast, probably good opportunity. I'm sure they're going to have a ton of vendors there. And I've always seen pictures of it. So looks like it's going to be a very good time. It's really just kind of like a merch and toy show. You're not going to get any like big third-party presents or anything. But, still a good opportunity for fans to get together and, maybe try and find anything you're looking for in person. And the cool thing about toy shows is you can also haggle a little bit too. So, yeah, let's get in. Well, let's check up. I see chat's popping off, so let's catch up with chat a little bit. We got TF Marauder popping in, saying new to the channel. Hope all's well. Good to see you, man. Welcome on into the channel. Just about to talk all of the Fanstream news that dropped today. And we also have Super Gamer coming in. Super Gamer Plus Show coming in. Say hi and new. Good to see you. Welcome on in. And let's get the Fanstream stuff up. So before we do, there's a figure that's dropping now. A lot of people, myself included, are excited for, and that's the Age of the Primes Star Optimus Prime. And I saw this floating around. This is just something to be on the lookout for. Thank God this is not as bad as what we got with the HasLab Omega Prime. But there's a misassembled window issue that's impacting some people. So this was originally posted on Facebook in the Transformers bot posting group. And basically, all that's going on with this, and this is apparently a really easy fix, is that the chest isn't assembled correctly. And really all you have to do is take the screws out, and they're showing you where the screws are, and just go ahead and push the chest in flush and then re-screw everything back in. So you can see if there's a gap there, if it's not sitting that way, it should be sitting completely flush with the chest. So that's what you're going to have to do. Is it annoying? Yes. Is it something that really is a cause for concern? No. So just something to be mindful of if you're planning on getting that figure. It's also kind of funny that Mastermind Creations had a similar issue with their Optus Stellaris, where their chest piece was just kind of glued in and it would pop out pretty easily. All you had to do was take a couple dabs of Loctite and put it in there. But it's kind of funny. This is the second Star Convoy figure in a couple years to have chest assembly issues. But if you get it, you have that issue with your figure. It's a very simple fix. Nothing to panic about. No need to return it. Just undo those screws, push the chest in, and screw them back in. But do be mindful that it's clear plastic. You don't want to screw it in too tight, because then you don't want to break the clear plastic. Hey, we got Paul Morales coming in, hanging out. Good to see you, Paul. And let's get into the big news. We had the June 24th Fanstream, and a lot of stuff was shown off. So we had Nate and Evan presenting this one. Nate's from marketing, obviously. Oh, you can see right there. And just the details of this, they finally acknowledged Studio Series 86 Megatron. So there he is in packaging. And some cool things about him. He does have dedicated butterfly joints. And they apparently had an internal discussion about whether or not he would be a blaster or a tank. I guess by blaster, they meant a stationary gun, kind of like what he is in Skybound. But ultimately, they decided to redo the continuity, I guess for also the legal reasons and the firearm laws in the U.S. But they're now officially making G1 Megatron a tank moving forward, which it is what it is. I mean, you can, if you have to have him as a Walther P-38, there's options. New Age put one out. I'm sure every third party under the sun is going to do their own equivalent. I'm sure the KO companies are going to retool this one and make him a blaster. But apparently, the tank was based on an unused prototype from the 80s called the Armor Blaster System. So there is some tie-in to, the original ideas for G1. So, cool stuff. Here you can see the legs are actually looking to be more correct colors, a lighter gray. We'll get to some other pictures moving forward, but I think everybody that was worried about these being blue, I think you can kind of put those worries to rest. So I think we've kind of seen this guy unofficially to death at this point, but it's still cool for them to finally acknowledge him, finally show him off officially, and answer some questions about him. And also, too, they put him up for pre-order. So, I see Super Gamer coming in saying hopefully the price increase don't last very long. Well, it seems like the price increase only impacted leaders. Unfortunately, the leaders are now up to $60 a piece, which does suck. But at least here it looks like we're getting like similar. I've seen the engineering for this guy. I've seen the transformation videos. The engineering's there. The accessories are there. I'd be happier with that price tag if they gave him the Energon mace, but that's just an accessory that would wind up in a bin. I would like some effects parts with him, especially something like, give him like a blast effect would be awesome. So you could replicate him, blasting, especially that battle damaged Ironhide. I think that would be a really awesome blast effect to have, but it is what it is. I do think that the bot mode on this looks really good, and I think probably when I get this guy, I'll take my my New Age Megatron and just kind of keep him permanently in gun mode. I don't know why that's not going forward there, but they did show him next to 86 Commander Class Optimus Prime. It's funny too that they have one with stamps on it. A lot of people, including my boy Deluxe, have said that, thinking that they were going to do a 2-pack of these guys, with minimal accessories and doing battle damage for SDCC. I don't think we're getting that quite yet, because they did, spoiler alert, show us something we're getting for SDCC. But yeah, I mean, again, this is looking good, and I love the fact that if not for the backs of the legs, you'd have no idea that he even turns into a tank. Like they did a really, really good job, in my opinion, of keeping that kibble very minimal. And we finally see the digital renders and how he looks with those digital colors. And again, in these renders, the legs do not have a hint of blue. So I'm curious if that's just a photography issue or people getting pre-production stolen samples, which years ago, T-Man can tell you we got pre-production samples of Masterpiece Hot Rod, and he had color differences. The plastic they used on him was a slightly different shade, and he had clear windows as opposed to blue. So, hey, Stunning Brave, good to see you, my dude. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, like I said, this is an anticipated figure. I'm looking forward to getting him. I also like how in the back they're like, yeah, the little him. It's an accessory for other figures. So give him to a seeker if you want. Then for anybody who missed out on Studio Series 86 Grimlock and didn't pay the scalper prices, he is officially getting reissue. He's $60 as well, but he still comes with wheelie, and you now have a second shot to get him. So good on Hasbro for reissuing this figure, knowing that a lot of people missed out on him. I never even saw him in the stores. I've only ever seen him at conventions, and he is coming in the new packaging as well. Hey, Mario, good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. And the Blokies bug has bitten Stunning and Brave. So those things are addicting, man. Or are addictive. I'm waiting for that sound wave to come out. I'm gonna pick him up. But yeah, just showing off. It's no changes. That's part of the notes that they put out, that this is exactly the same. There are no color changes. There are no changes to any of the design aspects of him. He is just a one-to-one reissue, just in new packaging. So again, if you missed out on him, you have another chance. Especially too, if you were, worried that you might have to pick up the G2 one. But yeah. Then another one we saw pop up on eBay a couple weeks ago, got an official reveal, the Studio Series Thundercracker from War and Fall of Cybertron. Looking pretty good. Again, looking exactly like he did in those eBay leaks. And finally, we get a picture of the three of them together, and that looks really damn good. I might take like a silver Sharpie and fix those cockpits, because I think the cockpits look too wide. They're missing some paint detailing. But yeah, you can also see he also comes with his own unique weapon from the game. Same details and all as the other, that swappable arm gimmick that's on Starscream and Skywarp. But finally, we'll get to complete the Seeker Trio from War and Fall of Cybertron. And yeah, looking forward to getting him, because I never got the Planet X ones. I got the Starscream. My wife gave that to me one Christmas. But I kind of like the scale of these a bit better than the Planet X. I'm probably gonna thin the herd on my Planet X stuff. I'll definitely keep that Starscream and just put him on a different shelf because he was a gift. But I'll keep him with his coronation stuff. Maybe I'll put him in front of that Thrilling 30 Metroplex. Then we get an official look at Mixmaster in his packaging, and he's looking really good. I know some people are already getting him for review. Surprise, surprise, but I'm hearing good things about him. And, really nobody's getting these for the individual bot modes. Everybody's getting them for, obviously, Devastator. And they did put out some details on combiners during this fan stream. So one of the things is that they want to do more combiners. They're apparently a big ask. And the two that they apparently are focusing on or are highly considering are Defensor and Predaking. And I would love to see an updated Predaking, because I was not a fan of the Combiner Wars Predaking at all. I guess he wasn't Combiner Wars. I think at that point he was Power of the Primes. But yeah, that figure had so many sacrifices. So I'd love to see an updated there. Apparently, Rail Tracer is one that they also want to tackle, or they're aware that they want to tackle. So I'd love to see more Robots in Disguise, especially get the other two Car Brothers done. I'd love to see a redo on Sideburn. I know he just got a figure, but that mold did not suit him. I'd love to see them get the Dodge Viper license and do him proper, and do Prowl and X-Brawn as well. They also said that they have apparently got a Monstructor out there. They said the pieces are out there, but they can't say when or if it'll be released. But they did assure us that it won't be dinosaurs, meaning it's not going to be a Volcanicus repaint, which release that as a set. Make that a PulseCon or an SDCC set. I think that would be incredibly awesome. So, we also got a formal look at Scavenger as well. We've seen him before. I think he's kind of weak looking proportionally. That torso, just so much off with it. I really wish that Bone Crusher and Scavenger were Voyagers. I know that would increase the price point, but yeah, the sacrifices they made with those two, I mean, they're just kind of lucky that the combined Devastator looks fantastic, and this is why you get this set. So I can't deny that's a good looking Devastator. That just that's really the proportions I wanted out of the original Combiner Wars one. And I will say that even though Bone Crusher was a bit of a disappointment in proportions, the plastic on these guys, the tolerances have all been really good. So I'm pretty faithful that the combined Devastator is going to be worth it in the end. Especially the fact that they got his backpack right too, going back there. So, and there you get scale with 86 Commander Prime, and I think now you can kind of see like why they were saying that Devastation Prime is kind of more in scale with Devastator. So it's like the the trade-off there. But still, and then we get the renders. We get the renders there. I kind of funny they slipped the renders in, but there's Scavenger, and he also went up for pre-order. We get a look at Alita 1, and we've seen her before, but what we didn't know is that she actually does come with a jetpack, and or the booster pack, and that booster pack is compatible with D16 and Orion packs and Bumblebee apparently, or I guess B127. So cool that they toss in an extra accessory, acknowledging she's kind of a lighter, slimmer figure. And also kind of cool to know that, that does come off. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh, well, what if you wanted to have a jump pack dedicated one? I'm sure they're going to eventually do an Orion packs and D16, cogged versions. Granted, who knows what they're going to do with Studio Series 86. So we do have a footnote for that. There was a poll at the end. We also get an official look at Starscream, and there he is. He is, he's looking to be a pretty decent sized deluxe. I like what I see there. Still can't really tell if he has ankle articulation or not. I don't recall that coming up in the stream. I hope he does, but it doesn't look like he does. It looks like that's just kind of cut at an A stance. And Studio Series, unfortunately, does do that sometimes, where they just they don't do ankle articulation. We get the concept art, and they're calling it KSI Widow for this release. Again, she was supposed to be in Age of Extinction, but never was. But what's interesting about her is they actually got the McLaren license for the vehicle. So this is a character that never appeared in the movie, just concept art. But they still managed to get a license for this. So, cool stuff. Hey, Drunk 3PO, good to see you, Jay. Hope you're having a good night, man. And let's see. Mario coming back saying there's a topic and an interesting session from Evans, and the fans asking them which characters from the G1 cartoon they want from season 1 that didn't appear in the movie. Yeah, I've been saying that for a minute, that my thought on this is that they'll do a Studio Series 84, 85, 87, and they'll expand it beyond the movie, and then they'll keep Age of the Primes for more like kind of experimental, and not Age of the Primes, but the mainline stuff, like they like to do their trilogies. But I think that's ultimately what they're going to do to keep Studio Series alive. But there's KSI Widow kind of officially revealed here, and her product shots. And like I said, she looks pretty good. I think she's going to make a really good Knockout retool. If they want to do an update to Prime Knockout, she'd be a really, really good candidate to be remolded into him, especially if we could get a better breakdown. That'd be awesome. Yes, I did. I thought you were, Jay. Unless I'm being punked. At least that's what I thought from the Legion of Memers days. Then, of course, we get the Hearts of Steel set, which just came out. I did get this over the weekend. Unfortunately, I don't think the set's very good, to be honest. I might do a discussion on it. But I don't care for the Prime, and the Starscream has its own issues. I like the way they look, but I don't like the way they feel, pose, or transform. But what they did reveal is that Megatron and Bumblebee are going to be, at least for the time being, San Diego Comic-Con exclusives. So if you want to get the Battle Cannon Megatron or the Train Bumblebee, you're going to have to get them either through Pulse or at SDCC. Yeah, no, I know a lot of people from my time in the Legion. Good to see you in here hanging out. I didn't know you were a Transformers fan, but thanks for coming on, man. It's good to see you. And there they are in their 2-pack. Now, I'm definitely getting this. I've wanted the Hearts of Steel Megatron for forever. So, I mean, it's really cool to finally have these in an official capacity. They did do some third-party Hearts of Steel figures back in the day. They did obviously they did Prime and the Seekers through Mastermind Creations. And Mastermind Creations also did do a Shockwave back in the day, which was that whole that riverboat, and it was wild, man. I wanted that. That was my gateway into third party. That figure, the MMC Cyclops, is the figure that really got me interested in third party. I never got it though. I always waffled on it, and then I was just like, I can't imagine spending that sort of money now. Like, you look at my basement and look at my collection. There was a time where I was smarter, but now the addiction's fully there. But yeah, at the time, I just could never justify. So I'm glad to see official Hearts of Steel figures, even if the first two aren't exactly what I wanted. But again, this Megatron looks really good. The Bumblebee looks really good. These things are going to be small. They're deluxe scale. So, you know, it is what it is, but the sculpts are really nice. And again, this is probably the only time we're ever going to get this Megatron. Or, I mean, there's been plenty of options for this Bumblebee. In fact, there was a company, I can't remember who they were, that actually did one that was actually really good. But there they are as a complete set. And you can see that the Megatron's not much taller than the Starscream, about your average deluxe size. And the Bumblebee's going to be a little guy. And that Hearts of Steel Optimus turns into a very, like, chibi train. Evan doesn't look amused there at all. He's like, what have we done? But yeah, originally the Megatron and Bumblebee were just going to be I thought offered through Pulse, but I guess given a lot of the uncertainty earlier in this year, they probably just said, hey, let's just turn these into SDCC exclusives for the year. But yeah, there they are. And going back to Hearts of Steel, they did acknowledge that there is a demand for Shockwave quite a bit. And we are getting more comic characters in 2026 through Studio Series, which is cool. They're expanding Studio Series into the comic stuff, so we'll get more of those, of, like, you know, those classic Furman comic characters, you know. But don't know if we're going to get anything from Dreamwave, or I'm sure we'll probably get a Shredhead at some point. But yeah, Hearts of Steel is not going to be part of what they're doing in 2026. But I guess they're leaving it on the table. Would be really cool to get the other two Seekers maybe as a 2-pack. And if they do Shockwave, he's got to be big. Like, they can't just make him a Voyager or a Leader. He would have to be a Commander class to work. In my opinion, I guess they could shrink him down. But there are the two boxes together. It was a nice box, but I did toss it. Now, one of the things that was really interesting about this Fanstream is they're now showing gray prototypes. So this is something that they haven't done for a while. And I guess this is in response to what's been going on with a lot of the leakers. So we get our look at both Arachnid and Alpha Trion from Transformers 1. So I was a little concerned hearing that Arachnid was going to be a deluxe, but she looks to be a pretty decently sized deluxe. And there she is next to Alita and Starscream. So I think next to Sentinel, she will be in scale. And yeah, I mean, again, you can see with making her deluxe, there's some sacrifices, ball jointed elbows, and you just, I guess, because of nature of her design, you're not getting a ankle tilt on her, but that's fine with those feet. You don't really need it, especially since you can use those back legs for supports. And she does have a proper VTOL mode, which, again, engineering like this on a deluxe, if done right, this is pretty impressive at that $25 price point. So I'm really looking forward to getting her, and I think she might be my most anticipated Transformers 1 Studio Series figure. We also get a look at Alpha Trion as well. He is a Voyager, and he's looking the part. You can see they have a resin and a test shot here. And I like the fact that his tail weapon is articulated. I don't recall seeing him use that in the movie, but still, he's looking pretty good. I wish that they had kind of figured a way to get a cape accessory, but what are you going to do? And DNA Designs is already chomping at the bit to get one done. But really, really cool. And I love the fact that this one actually has the broken horn. The one that they came out with for their main line did not. The lion mode looks a little off to me, but again, it's just a test shot, so I hope that they improve on that head. But granted, you barely saw that in the movie. But yeah, all these reveals are looking really, really good. So that was all the content of the fan stream. Now, they did come out with the pre-orders for all of those, and again, all of those renders and official images that we just saw. But yeah, they I think this was a really, really good fan stream. I like the fact that they're getting a bit more aware of what's going on with some of the leaks that are happening, and just kind of putting everything in front of the fans. There's a Weibo user, and again, going back to what I said about the legs on the 86 Megatron looking blue, this Weibo user apparently got an in-box sample, and in their photography, it looks like the legs are blue, but I'm wondering if there's any photographers out there, maybe you can answer this to me, are they messing with their macros and lightings a bit? These shots show off a lot of the posability of the figure. But I think in hand, the shins are not going to look blue like this. I think they're just playing with the levels. Also, here you can see like this contrast on the legs. I think these are just really oversaturated pictures. And I think in hand, it's going to look better. I mean, the only thing, and to be honest, the only thing I really don't like about this Megatron is, you can see that mushroom peg in the upper thigh. But yeah, this person also has most of Devastator. That's a really good shot. I'll give them that. There he is with the beam saber. Again, blast effect and the little piece of rock. And again, DNA designs. They're going to do that. Those would have been cool bits to have. But yeah, there's an unofficial look there. And we do have a couple rumors. And these come from a very, very, very reliable source, JT Prime 17, who's really never led us wrong on any of his listings, leaking that this year's PulseCon exclusives are going to be a repaint and possible retool of the Commander Class Nemesis Prime, and what they're calling a Vorpal Saber, which I guess is the evil Star Saber, 3 Minicons as its own set. Don't know how that's going to be sold. But those are apparently the accessories. Apparently, they will be a transforming set of Minicons. So it'd be really cool if they do that remolded face proper. I kind of wish that they would just sell him without the trailer, because he never combined in the show. Like, he was just the Bendy Prime basically. So it'd be cool if they just sold the body. But no, it looks like they're going to be doing and again, different sides of the aisle, right? You'd have people that would want the full set for everybody that just wants the main bot to display. But those are going to be apparently the exclusives this year. I can't remember when PulseCon is. Let me check that real quick. If they even have a date for that. I don't think they've even announced the date for PulseCon yet. But probably we'll have some more details on that date soon, and I'm sure they'll save the announcement for the show. And Mario coming in saying, we got the Studio Series Gamer Edition Decepticon Soldier, and saying we're getting something similar for that with the 2-pack of the ground shirt. Yeah, they're probably gonna milk a lot of those Studio Series repaints for the Devastation Gamer Editions. I would not be shocked. And he also came in and said, did you hear the unfortunate impressive news that Transformers 1 is not going to be getting a sequel due to how it underperformed and flopped? Yes, I did hear about that. I do kind of want to do just a dedicated discussion on that, because it did do well at streaming, but I'm waiting for numbers from Samba TV if they do hit, because I want to take a good look at streaming numbers if they become available. But yeah, it is very depressing that Transformers 1 just didn't find that audience. Though I do see on social media all the time people discovering it and saying, oh my God, why didn't anybody tell me this movie was good? And it's like, no, we tried to tell you. There are so many people that were naysayers, or were just looking for reasons to nitpick it. And to be honest, the trailers were bad. But yeah, it's just unfortunate that we got such a good movie and it failed to find a footing. We do have more missing link rumors. We're apparently potentially getting a missing link Ratchet and Ironhide. I'm sure they'll probably double dip on these like they do with every single release and do an anime version, but it's currently just a rumor coming out of Baidu right now, so nothing concrete. And we still do have that floating rumor that there's going to be an Ultra Magnus and Grimlock. Now, interestingly, there is a comic right now that is not only teasing Ultra Magnus, but is teasing Delta Magnus as well, since they're doing RC in both her prototype and anime colors. So I think that's a very, very likely thing to happen. Another interesting thing we got is more information on MPG 17. This is over on Baidu, and this came from this was an interview that was published in the Transformers Generations book that came out this year. And Yu Onishi, who's a designer with Takara Tomy, was interviewed, and he said that the MPG line is going to have both stylized figures and animation accurate figures. So I guess we're probably going to get more Studio Ox style stuff within MPG. He said he wants to integrate elements of different Transformers designs this is specifically about the Style Gen MPG 17 Optimus Prime, that he wanted to integrate different designs into that Optimus Prime from previous figures. So when you go down here, you can see, let me make sure this loads up correctly. There you go. Showing that, and again, it's not really too clear, but when he designed this figure, he picked elements from MP1, MP10, MP44 to create this. I kind of like this idea, to be honest, because ultimately, if you have MP44 or MP10 and you're happy with them, you don't need this. But if you just like the design, or you wanted something more like Studio Ox, or you're a collector of a character, this option's for you. Like, you do not have to be a completionist. And I do hope that with the Style Gen stuff, it's just revisiting characters that have already been done, rather than, moving forward, taking away that option. Third party's still going strong, and third party will fill in those gaps, and probably will continue with that Hypertune style. But I think this is pretty cool, and I think it's a smart way of doing a 3.0. And my biggest problem with MP44 is, while he looks the part, he is hell to transform. So take of it what you will. I think MP10 had a really fun transformation. I recently transformed a few of mine. 'Cause I think I have most of the iterations of that mold. I've got the US, the Japanese, the Shattered Glass. I have the Nemesis version. I've got the Ghostbusters version. I've got the Ultra Magnus version. The Golden Lagoon version. Got a lot of MP10s. I even have the upscaled KO one, and that transformation is just, I think, one of the best Optimus Prime transformations. I think just the biggest problem with them is some proportional issues. But I do like this idea. I just hope that they're a bit more reserved, because I'd like to see a Style Gen Megatron. I think that would be really cool. Maybe kind of take some of the ideas, maybe give us like some G2 characters, I know that with Takara Tomy, the unfortunate thing is we're going to see the Style Gen Prime repainted to death. So, but I'm still curious to see what they do. Now we'll get into the little bit less exciting official news. Apparently we got more, we've heard these are coming. Beast Wars Funko Pops. If you are a Funko Pop collector, and not to hate on them, there's just a lot of them. They are giving us some Beast Wars love. I do honestly kind of like that Primal and Megatron, and Black Arachne is pretty decent there. That Rhinox looks like he needs a sandwich. But yeah, there you go. If you're interested in Funko Pops, and good Lord, look at the number on that. 1,718. They are up there. And then lastly, from eHobby, they're doing some official garage kits. These look to be like, paint your own resin statues that are just kind of small batch. Looks like they're 3D printed resin, but kind of cool to see. They're priced at about $20, which I think's a little high coming from eHobby, but there you go. I think it would be cooler if they did those like, electroplated, but they're doing Optimus, Tarn, and Soundwave out the gate. It's cool to see Tarn getting some up. Hey, Snap, good to see you, my dude. Hope you're having a good night. Now, let's get over to the third-party stuff. We don't have too much, so we'll probably wrap up close to that 1 hour mark. But we got some bangers here. We'll kick things off actually with a KO. So I don't normally cover KOs here, and this comes courtesy of my friend TM Reviews. And he shares this: the MD-005 KO Studio Series Optimus Prime has a bunch of improvements. And I think this one is retailing for about $40. But this one's exciting, and I don't normally cover KOs on the channel, but you'll see in a second why. So first and foremost, the mold line of the thigh has been changed, and they put a closed cover behind the calf. So the screw holes on the leg are now concealed. They're including extra windows. So if you want to have cell-shaded windows, you can do that, which is a pretty cool and considerate options part. They cover up the rear of the cab, which is pretty cool. You get a Starscream head, and you get Starscream parts if you want to recreate that time Optimus or Starscream disguised himself as Optimus. So he's also coming with the battle damage head, kind of similar to what the Masterpiece, well, the MP44 Optimus has. Then also they're using apparently they're I don't know what this means, but it just says in order to improve cost effectiveness of this product, the rubber nails and buckles have been changed to blacksmithing shafts. I don't know what that means. It's got to be a mistranslation. Maybe they're talking about they're using different smokestacks or tires, because we'll get to that in a second. The main model has rubber wheels, and it's got a chrome wheel hub. And they also cover up additional screw holes on the back of the cab. So I guess that's what they mean by the air conditioning unit. You have that like truck AC cab if you want to cover up the back. But you also get a Season 1 head as well, and there's those cell-shaded windows. What makes this really exciting is this actually comes with a Megatron arm, and he can transform with that. So if you wanted this to be your Skybound Optimus, and you want to get it on the cheap, I think this retails for about $40 through import sites. You can do that. They even have the courtesy to toss in some blast effects as well. So, and then there's all the Starscream parts. And you can see, yeah, that filler piece in there that just looks like a truck AC unit. There's the rubber tires. I'm wondering if they're saying that for cost effectiveness, so they're just changing the rubber to plastic. I kind of hope that's the case, because rubber has a tendency to split, especially on cheaper figures. If they're not using it, you can see those screw hole covers in there as well. And I think if you got like a dry transfer Autobot decal, which I have plenty of, he would look nigh on perfect. So yeah, I'm very tempted to get it just for this look and have him be my Skybound my Skybound Optimus. And there you can see him too with that optional battle damage part. So very cool stuff. And thanks again to TM Reviews for sharing. Then X-Transbots posted this on their Weibo earlier. This one's pretty exciting. Their Misfire, which theirs is called Ballistic, looks like he's about ready to ship. So I don't know like who this poster is, whether for all I know, it's probably Keith himself. But sitting in a car, posting images of this figure, it looks like he's going to be relatively simple to transform. I'm hopeful that the durability is there. And you can see here the bottom. And this is the first time we've seen the bottom. It looks like this is going to be a really, really straightforward transformation. So my hope is that he's of good materials, and also he's not over-engineered in any way. And just, one of those cases where X-Transbots actually manages to get a home run. This is just, a very simple and clean figure, and I'm looking forward to getting some of these Decepticon Target Masters on my shelf. The cool thing about, what we're getting here, and cool that they're also including the alternate head, this looks very similar to like Fans Toys in terms of paint and materials. And, I rag on Fans Toys a bit, but I just kind of like the fact that he's not going to look out of place if you've got a bunch of the Fans Toys Headmasters, and they're not really targeting They're not really tackling Target Masters. Why? I couldn't say that. Jeez. He's not going to look too out of place. So, yeah, if the price is right on this guy, I think I will probably bite on him. It looks like he will be out relatively soon. The big one, Magic Square, also posting on YBO. Their Vortex is coming out this month. So all we need now is Vortex and Blast Off, and their Bruticus is done. So don't really know. I guess I don't really know if he's going to be done, considering the fact that the tune parts and the combiner parts don't appear to be included with them. But, you know, again, getting that posability. Let me see if I can zoom out. There we go. Let me zoom out just a wee bit here. You know, they're really, really showing off the articulation and the accuracy of these guys. And yeah, their photographer is just amazing. What's also cool is I think this is the first Vortex that actually has the propeller blades fold in, and it looks like they actually have a locking mechanism. I don't know for certain, but they appear to be locked into place. And I love that helicopter mode. I actually do really like, even though those hinges are visible, I like the fact that the propellers actually have a sag to them. And there's that bot mode group shot, and it's just looking fantastic. And then they're teasing here the combined Bruticus. Again, we don't know if Blast Off is going to come with the torso bits, how they're going to release those combiner parts. I know we're supposed to get a tune-accurate chest with one of them. My guess is they'll probably include all the parts with Vortex and call it a day and sell him for the same price as Onslaught. I'd honestly be okay with that. In fact, it's funny. I forgot to take this downstairs, but I actually do have this with me still. I have the chess piece from Vortex that was sitting on my desk. So yeah, this is going to be a big set. I'm really looking forward to it, and yeah, I'm as soon as I get Vortex and Blast Off, I'm getting rid of my Zeta set, but. These guys do look so good in their individual modes, but I have my MMC ones and I like them a lot too. So my MMC ones are still going to be my bot mode Combaticons, even though these guys look so much better. Second to last, again, courtesy from TM Reviews. This was one of the reveals at BotCon. Not too many reveals, but for any MMC tape collectors, one of their dreams is finally coming true. They're doing Forte, which is their take on a ram horn. And he's looking really good. People have been begging for this for so long, and this looks like it's not going to disappoint. So I think really now after this, they just got to do Rat Bat, and they'll have done all of the tapes in the larger scale. And lastly, we get this from Black Prime Transforming Toys. This is a new set. So this is coming from Craftsman Toys. And this is an MP scaled stylized Grimlock. And as you can see here, this is the upper part of a torso. This is their take on a Volcanicus. And so this is kind of in line with like what Dreamstar is doing and what Kang is doing. Albeit I think this looks better than the stylization of Kang. This actually kind of has some, I think this kind of looks similar to what they did for Universe. It kind of has some Triptychon vibes going on too. But, yeah, Craftsman Toys. I think they're also doing a, if I'm not mistaken, a Superion. But, you know, while I'm not big on my Dinobots combining, and this is not going to find its way into my collection just because I don't really collect stylized pieces, that is a amazing head sculpt. And that upper torso just looks pretty damn awesome. So... no other details yet. I'm sure we'll have a bit more from upcoming conventions. They'll probably have some renders or pictures of the other Dinobots. But yeah, that is the and I guess we don't even have an official name yet, but the upcoming Grimlock / Volcanicus from Craftsman Toys. So let's see. Stunning Brave, did I miss something on TFW? I know that those forums are always going wild. I do peep into there because there's a lot of stuff that, you know, like kind of pro tip. If you ever go to like the third party forums over on TFW, you do find a lot of stuff that doesn't make any news sites. It's kind of strange, but I do scour there sometimes to see if there's stuff that people missed, and I do try to include it in the show, especially when it comes to the Beast Wars stuff. I know some people are kind of iffy on Beast Wars. I love Beast Wars, so any new news, I definitely want to share. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up all the news for tonight. So again, to reiterate, if you're in the DMV area, if you're in Maryland or even Pennsylvania, it's not that far of a drive. This Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern, we are going to be doing a meetup at Bar Louie in the Avenue at White Marsh from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Everybody's welcome. It's not a Transformers only event, so if you're interested in just checking out some cool figures, if you've got anything you want to share, or anything that you're looking to sell or maybe trade for, feel free to bring it. But there's really no obligation to bring anything but yourself and a good attitude. I want to see a lot of people there because it's going to be an awesome time, and I'm hoping to have some cool footage from that event that I'll post here on the channel. Of course, I'll ask people if they want to be filmed. If you don't want to be filmed, don't worry, we won't film you. But as I mentioned, T-Man 978 is going to be there. Bolt Matrix is a maybe. Kevin Womack from the DMV Action Figure Society. Datacon's going to be there as well. So it's going to be a really, really good time. And I'm really looking forward to just going, hanging out with some people, having some food, and just checking out and sharing some cool figures. I'm planning on bringing my New Age Duel, which is their MP scaled Dark of the Moon Megatron, for people to check out. So, definitely going to be a really, really good time. Oh, I see I missed a comment from Mario. Let me get that before we wrap up. And I think, is it this one? There was another figure from the listings for 2025 Studio Series. Another deluxe was supposed to be as the Gamer. I did get that one. And let's see. The other comment about what was leaked or revealed. The Autobot Soldier. Yeah, we actually, JT Prime had a listing for that years back, or not years back, but last year, that they were going to probably retool that barricade mold into the Autobot Soldier from like War and Fall of Cybertron. So I'm surprised. I'm sure we'll probably see that one relatively soon. And I hope I hope they do a little bit more, or, because I don't hate that barricade mold, but it's not the best. And that's also like one that's like, again, they didn't put ankle tilt on it, and that hurts the figure. Unfortunately, Princeton, I will not be doing any barbecue for the event. I don't think that the bar allows outside food or drinks, but they do have good food. I will say, it's like their chicken sandwiches are some of my favorites, and it's chicken sandwiches and tots there are really good. They have a Parmesan chicken sandwich that's like, basically it's a fried chicken patty with a fried mozzarella patty on top of it, smothered in mozzarella sauce. They serve it with tater tots. It's to die for. That'll be my cheat day. That's the day I'm not doing carnivore. I'm just like, I'm having my chicken sandwich and tots and I'll probably get fried pickles, man. It's going to be a good time. Sunny Brave said he's going to Luke Skywalker Force Ghost Projection there. Don't die doing that. It didn't end well for Luke or the franchise. I'd miss checking in on those art streams too, man. So don't kill yourself doing that. That's gonna wrap it up for me tonight. Again, I'm gonna post on the community tab the details of that. If you're in the area or know anybody in the area, encourage them to come out. Like I said, I'll try and get some footage together. I'm sure T-Man will be recording. Also Junkion Crafts and Builds will be there too if you're interested in meeting up with him. And yeah, it's just really, really good time. And I'll have a video up this Thursday, the updated collection tour for 2025. I've got everything all in order. I'm pretty happy with where the basement's at. So I'll be showing off my Transformers collection and all my gaming memorabilia and the arcade down there. So I'm curious to see what people think about that. And I'll have an update when Lance and I can sync up to do that Prime repaint discussion. But anyway, I want to thank all of you for hanging out with me tonight. It's been a really good time, and just always enjoy hanging out, talking with you guys. And also check out Sunny and Brave Megatron's channel. He's actually he's saying that he's going to be doing a Combaticon diorama over the next 5 days. He also, in addition to art, he does really good diorama work. So try to catch him live when I can. He just kind of does some talking and building stuff, and really doing a good job elevating his displays. Something I need to do. I just have all my stuff kind of boring on Black Billy shelves, which you guys will see. They're a little overcrowded too, but I'm still happy with what I got. But yeah, he's got really elevated displays. So check out his channel and hop in when he's doing those builds, because a lot of fun to watch, and he just does really awesome work. And if you're interested in making any elevated displays for your shelves, some good ideas in there. You can see how it's done. But anyway, thanks again to you all. I wouldn't be able to do this show without each and every one of you who tune in every week. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit that like if you like what we do here, and hit that subscribe button if you like tonight's show, and ring that notification bell, because I don't know when I'll be uploading the other videos this week. So you'll want to be notified when they go up. But other than that, I hope everybody has a great week ahead. And until next time, Zero out.